There are times when you have a lot of data on a spreadsheet and you want to format it for printing that you might need to repeat this row of column headings at the top, or maybe even repeat the data in the column on the left-hand side so that your data is a lot easier to read and looks more professional. So let's take a look at this in Print Preview. So in this example, you have all of the column headings at the top on the first page. Notice that the last column is number sold. So on the second page, you don't have these columns at the top, so it might be a little bit more difficult to determine what these columns of data might be. So if we go through the data, when we get to page 4, then we have these two columns that were at the very right-hand side of the spreadsheet, and those are also hanging out by themselves. You don't know which warehouse or which store goes with each row. So if we go back to the data and look, you can see that these two, because of this page break, are hanging out on the next page by themselves. So let's do this in 2 steps. You could do it in 1, but I'll show you each individually so that you can see what it will be like. Let's repeat these headings on row 5 at the top of each page. So we're going to go to Page Layout and Print Titles, and we're going to repeat that row at the top of every page. So I'm going to click there, I'm going to choose row 5. It adds the absolutes, which is fine. And then you can go into Print Preview. And when I go to the next page, you'll see that on the next pages, it will show those column headings for you. Now, we still have the problem of these. So if we go back to Print Preview, we can see that the last pages are still hanging out there like this. So if we wanted to add, let's say, the warehouse column so that we know what the warehouse ID is for each of those, we could add that. So in this case, we'll go back to Page Layout and Print Titles, and we're going to repeat column A on the left side. So we're going to click here and select column A from the top. We're going to go back to Print Preview, and so now we have the column headings at the top and the warehouse ID with the inventory cost of each and the price sold per item. Now that doesn't really make a lot of sense to have the warehouse ID with the cost and the price sold per item. What we might want to do instead is we could add the department for each of those items so that we at least know the inventory cost per department. So depending on your data, you might have to change the column and maybe not use the very first column, although that's more likely what you would normally use. So let's choose column F and Print Preview that. And if we go down to the last 2 pages, now we can see the department, and for each department, the cost of each item in that department and the price that we sold that item. So play around with that a little bit and see how those work. Do not copy and paste the column or the row 5 headings at the top of each page when Excel can do that for you.